So I use AI for loads of stuff, obviously, but I have seen some absolute nightmares where people have used it for medical school and it has gone horribly wrong. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a warning of areas where you can use AI and others where you should be really, really careful with using it. One of the first areas that I would be cautious with using it is when choosing your medical or dental school, because I have seen a student who a year or two ago came to us and she didn't get in, and it was because she had used AI for her selection and actually had relied so much on it that she hadn't even double checked, and it turns out that she wasn't even eligible for 2 out of them. So half of her choices had already gone out the window, and that, didn't get in, but obviously that she'd already slashed her chances in half. So really important to be aware of that. Now, the other thing is that the AI doesn't have the level of data that some of the other, establishments out there have. So, for example, at FutureDoc, we have scoured all of the universities. We've gone and submitted Freedom of Information Acts to get really detailed information from them about all the specifics about how they choose students, what criteria they have, how they decide whether they let people in. So all very important, messing with the light here, all very important things that people need to get right and understand to make a really informed decision, and stuff that AI just doesn't go deep enough. So here I would say that you can use AI to give you a bit of an idea, get a flavor, and also really when it comes to actually like where you would like to go, whether you would like a city. So choosing the actual area that you want to live in, that is great and you can use it for that. But actually choosing the final 4 of your medical or dental school choices is a really, really dangerous game. A second area where I would be really careful with how you use AI is the personal statement. Firstly, the personal statement has changed this year, so it is not used to formatting it in that way. Obviously, AI only uses historical stuff that has been in the past, so it hasn't yet formulated a good way to write a really good personal statement. Not only that, it does create generic personal statements as well. I have seen lots of people come to us with a part of the students that we see. One of the things that we do is we help them build a really strong personal statement, and when we go through them, you can just tell straight away which ones have been written by AI, and you can tell they lack originality, they're very banal and obvious examples. They're clearly not giving that level of detail that you would do if you'd actually lived it and been there. Or maybe they just haven't had someone to tell them, look, this doesn't read very good. Even if it wasn't by AI, they haven't had someone go, well, this actually just rings a bit hollow, doesn't feel very real, or it feels AI generated. So that is, a theme of AI, right? If we're all using it, then who's going to be original anymore? So that's a really important thing. But where you can use it with this is for grammar checking, spell checking, all of that sort of stuff. Be careful of those ampersands, those little double dashes that you get that break up sentences where they don't use commas instead. That is a kind of hallmark of AI generated text. Now, another way that I would use AI but also be cautious with it is work experience. When you think about the people who are going to medical school, they're usually academically the top 1 to 2% of their year, right? And it's not quite exactly the same as Olympic coaching, but I do kind of describe it as a bit like that. When you are trying to do well in the Olympics, get a gold, a silver, a bronze, you need a really good coach, right? You wouldn't go to AI to teach you how to do gymnastics to go and end up in the Olympics and win, right? So it's very similar with medical school. You are training to, and same with dentistry, it's even more competitive now. You are training to be one of the best academically, and the scrutiny from that is really high. So we need precise level, not just entry level information, entry level guidance, which is kind of what AI does. It can go beyond that, but it's not nuanced enough and personalized enough to you to see you to be able to do that. Because that's probably the other 2 areas that I'd use with caution is UCAT training and interview training. There really isn't much that it can do in terms of personally tutoring you with either of them, really. With interview training, there are videos and it can give you some feedback, but again, it's going to get you to that maybe 80%, but we need to be in that top 5% to really be taking control of our med school application. One of the other things that people say, because you'll see this all the time on the internet, I think people need to be aware of what we call survivorship bias, because this isn't just relating to AI, but it's related to lots of stuff to do with the medical school application, because every year you will see people who come on the internet, wherever it is, and they'll say things like, oh, I only did this. I only worked for 10 hours on the UCAT and I did well. I only did this, and this, and I got in. That's all you need. And be careful of those people, because yes, that might have worked for them, but there is what you call a survivorship bias. It's only the people that did it and got in that are going to talk about that. Because imagine those people who did 10 hours of work, and for the UCAT, they didn't do that's, I mean, nowhere near enough, but say they didn't do that. No one's going to come on the internet and go, oh, I only did 10 hours and I didn't get in, because they're going to feel a fool for having done that. So if you want to find out a little bit more about how you can get some help, if you want some help from us, then absolutely, we'd love to see if you qualify to join our program. You can find out more about it there. But also, if you want some free resources for how to write a good personal statement, how to do well in the UCAT, interview stuff, basically every stage of the medical and dental school application, on the Future website, we'll give you those free resources that are going to give you a starting point to know what you need to do well. So I hope you enjoy those resources. I hope you find them useful, and I hope to see you over in the next video, or maybe even on the program. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.